Harry never knew the world as a place of warmth. His first memories were metal restraints, bright, burning lights, and voices that clicked like insects. He was a human infant, stolen from Earth by a species who sought to unlock human potential, or destroy it if they couldn't control it. The Crail scientists called him Specimen H-01. To them, he was a failed experiment. At 5 years old, they tossed him into a disposal shuttle and launched it toward an uncharted planet, a cold death, far from any stars humans knew. But fate had other plans. As the shuttle crashed through a violet sky, winged shadows followed. The planet belonged to dragons, towering, intelligent beasts covered in obsidian scales and crowned by molten gold eyes. The first to reach him was High Matriarch. When she tore open the wreckage, she expected metal, fire, weapons. Instead, she found a tiny human boy, shaking, half-starved, and still alive. And when he looked up at her, he didn't scream, he reached out. The dragons took him in. They gave him a new name. In their ancient tongue, Harry, the child unbroken. He grew among them, running between titanic claws, climbing stone spires that dragons used as perches. His bones hardened, his muscles grew dense, forged by gravity twice Earth's. His mind sharpened, learning old dragon lore and the language of flame. Dragons could not lift heavy boulders as he could. They could not survive long in toxic ash storms like he could. Humans, made to endure anything, became something more here. When he turned 16, Harry stood taller and stronger than most adult humans ever could. The dragons revered him, but he remembered the cold labs, the pain, the humans who never came for him. Still, he hoped. There was one dragon who remained closest to him, Princess Jessica, daughter of the matriarch. Unlike the others, she was young, curious, reckless, often sneaking out at night just to talk about the stars. Jessica adored the human who never bowed, but peace never lasts. A year later, the sky burned. Crail warships emerged from a tier in space, their engines screaming across the atmosphere. They had tracked the experiment they once threw away, but now, they wanted him back or dead. Thousands of dragons roared and launched into the sky like a storm of scales and fire. Jessica was airborne before anyone could stop her. Harry sprinted after her, heart pounding, gripping the dragon-forged spear he had trained with since childhood. Above them, dragonfire clashed with plasma cannons. The air rippled with heat. Dragons fell like comets. Crail dropships touched down, metal legs crushing volcanic rock. And through the chaos, Harry saw Chief Scientist Dravik, the one who strapped him down as a child. Dravik didn't even recognize the grown human standing before him. "You are a primitive mistake," the alien hissed. "Return quietly and maybe you will be useful again." Harry laughed, a harsh human sound the Crail weren't built to understand. "You broke me," he said, raising his spear. "Then the dragons rebuilt me." Before Dravik could order an attack, Jessica landed behind them like a meteor, wings unfurled, her roar shaking the stones. The battle erupted. Harry fought like the world had shaped him to unstoppable. Plasma burned his shoulder, but he drove his spear through armored chests. He climbed a walker drone and tore wiring free with bare calloused hands. For every wound he suffered, he rose again. Humans didn't know how to die quietly, but the Crail brought a weapon no dragon had ever seen, an energy siphon. Blue lightning lashed outward, draining fire from dragon throats, dropping them in agony. Jessica screamed as the net wrapped her wings, forcing her to the ground. Dravik aimed his weapon at her chest. Harry didn't think he charged. He leaped high, higher than any Crail believed possible, and his human fist shattered the siphon core. The explosion flipped the battlefield. Dravik flew backward, armor sparking. Harry stood over Jessica, shaking, bleeding but defiant. "You wanted a superhuman," he growled. "You made one." The dragons rallied around him. Fire returned to their lungs. Dravik saw the tide turning and ordered retreat. The sky tore again as Crail ships fled into warp, abandoning their broken units. Silence fell. Crimson ash drifted over the battlefield like snow. Jessica lifted her head, looking at him with eyes full of heat and something more. "Harry," she whispered, "you protect us as if you were born dragon." He knelt beside her, touching her scaled cheek with a trembling hand. "No," he said softly, voice tinted with sorrow and hope. "I protect the ones who loved me when no one else would." The matriarch landed, wings folding as she observed the carnage and the human boy at its heart. She spoke loudly, so every survivor heard. "He is no experiment, no orphan, no outsider. From this day, he is Harry Dragonsworn, first of his kind." The dragons roared their approval. Jessica leaned closer. "Where will you go now?" Harry gazed upward toward distant stars where Earth might still exist. I want to know who abandoned me, he said. And why? Jessica's wings wrapped around him like armor. Then we go together. He looked up in surprise. We, she smiled, full of dragon pride and young fire. You may be human, she said, but you're not alone. Dragons rose around them, a fleet of living warships, preparing for a journey across the stars. And somewhere, hidden in the dark, the Krail realized, their greatest mistake was not the experiment. Their greatest mistake was letting the human live, because now, humanity would return with dragons.